This is not science fiction. Imagine a 90-foot-tall tsunami heading towards New Zealand. You might be thinking that such a thing is impossible. So, how did scientists make this discovery? We have provided you with the research paper they released below. If this happens at least 580 times every year, how long will it take for the next mega tsunami to reach New Zealand? What is the impact on New Zealand's future? What is New Zealand preparing for? We are ready to answer all your questions. We are ready to answer all your questions. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. So I invite you to stay until the end of this video. New Zealand is facing a huge tsunami threat. It is a very dangerous situation. It is about 28 meters high. It is said that it will be about 92 feet high. Researchers discovered this dangerous situation while studying the geological features of New Zealand. They specifically studied the subjugation culture of the Hikarangas. This is the area where the tectonic plates collide off the northeast coast of New Zealand. Scientists considered this to be a disaster that could cause massive destruction. Such tsunamis can cause great damage. Therefore, scientists are urgently needed to make better decisions about this danger. If there is such a danger, they have a great responsibility to prevent it from happening. What is the story behind these tsunamis? Let's find out what happens after the earthquake in New Zealand. Remember that New Zealand's geological location can cause such tsunamis. It is pushed under the Pacific tectonic plate and the Australian tectonic plate. Such zones are more famous for causing earthquakes. This is the cause of the tsunami. Professor Laura Hughes of Victoria University of Wellington explains that New Zealand is in the subduction zone of the Yahiko Kuranga, so a large earthquake can easily hit the coast. This means that the time it takes for an earthquake to develop into a tsunami is short. This is very bad for the future of New Zealand. This is because there is a huge danger. There is very little time to save lives. Do you want to know how scientists discovered this threat? Next, let's see how scientists discovered this map. In the past few years, scientists have struggled to predict the future of tsunamis. Because with traditional methods, we can only get 150 years of historical data. Although the last earthquake was recorded by geophysicists, the data is incomplete. That's why the research team has come up with something new. That's why they have used a mathematical formula to calculate the earthquake. In the original novel, he combines all the facts about fault lines and the Earth. Then he combines that with the physical and scientific facts about the shape of the Earth. Then he simulates a 10,000-year-old meteorological model and calculates the size of the big Earth and how long the tsunami will last. These calculations are not just historical facts. There is much more to understand. In this study, Professor Mata Savage, head of the Department of Physics, says that the elaborate structure of this experiment, if not completely complete, will be very useful for us to develop. But what did this method reveal? If you listen to these things, you will be surprised. Now let's talk about it. Believe it or not, the researchers who conducted these experiments and simulations have information about earthquakes that have occurred in the past 30,000 years. It is estimated that earthquakes have occurred in 2,585 in 30,000 years. Its magnitudes range from 7 to 9. The place we mentioned above is the most dangerous place for earthquakes that cause tsunamis. The most amazing thing is the crustal faults and the rifts on the surface. The tsunami warning has been issued. Experts have found two very special things. That is, the largest tsunami that can occur is about 92 feet high. In 2011, the Tohoku tsunami in Japan reached 130 feet. If there is such a disaster, what kind of disaster can you imagine if a tsunami of more than 92 feet hits New Zealand and Auckland? So, this area can have tsunamis of more than 49 feet, which can happen more than once every 580 years. Is New Zealand ready to face such huge tsunamis? Let's talk about what they did. New Zealanders know that this disaster is really happening to them. They have a process in place to evacuate people if a tsunami of more than 3 feet hits. In this way, the homes they live in could be a major threat to tourists. As Laura Hughes said, a small wave can also be a big threat to people living in the area. Because the risk of tsunamis in areas such as the east coast of the Arctic is needed to reduce the pressure. Although there is an early warning system, officials are now working on ways to save people in a short time, which is useful in this situation. Remember that this research is not just needed in New Zealand. This is research being done on a very large number of people around the world. This phenomenon is not limited to earthquakes. How long in our tsunami history can tsunamis occur? And how often can we have tsunamis? How big is this wave? Where is the most important place for tsunamis to occur? Tsunamis are very valuable for people in Japan, Indonesia, and some other parts of the United States. Tsunamis have caused great concern for the people of Japan. Scientists hope to give people around the world a better understanding of the importance of tsunamis. Ultimately, it is fair to say that New Zealand is sitting on a geological time bomb. New Zealand can be hit by tsunamis as high as 90 feet. Thanks to research on earthquakes, scientists can now study this hazard from a better perspective. This video. If you find this video useful, don't forget to like it. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell to get the latest updates. See you again in new videos for knowledge safety.